photographs. They can capture moments of joy, love, and happiness. But sometimes, behind these images lie dark and chilling stories that make your blood run cold. Today, we will delve into the world of real, creepy photographs, each holding its own terrifying secret. Get ready to uncover stories you will never forget. Are you ready? Then let's move on to part 3. The woman in the photo on the left is a young and attractive person. Her name is Maria Elena Milagros de Hoya. The photo on the right is still the same woman, but already after death. The story of her life and death is simply shocking. The beautiful Maria was only 21 years old when she was diagnosed with tuberculosis. She went to Dr. Carl Chancellor for treatment. The doctor did everything possible to cure the young patient. On top of everything else, he fell madly in love with her. Unfortunately, medicine proved powerless, and Maria died. Then Dr. Dancing paid all the expenses related to the funeral and even built a mausoleum for her. But then, the worst begins. For exactly 2 years, the inconsolable doctor visited the grave of his deceased lover. After one of these visits, he decided that he wanted to take her with him. Carl spent 7 years with a decomposing corpse, from time to time repairing parts of the deceased's body. He fixed the crumbling bones with wire, replaced the damaged areas of the body, and made a wax mask to replace the girl's face with it. The dancer turned the corpse into a real mummy. The distraught doctor supposedly lived with Maria's remains as with a real living woman. In the end, Dr. Chancellor was charged with abusing a corpse. However, he was released after the expiration of the statute of limitations. He died a few years later. His body was discovered in the arms of a wax replica of Mary. At first glance, you will not see anything unusual in the photo, much less scary. If you don't know the story, you might think that this is a comic disguise as a knight. In the picture, a simple resident of Sweden in a Darth Vader costume. There are 2 men next to him, whom he will cut down with this very saber in a couple of minutes. It was an ordinary weekday when a man decided to come to a local school in such a slightly belligerent outfit for no particular reason. Many people found this a strange but quite harmless solution. Therefore, the guys who saw the man in the night costume jokingly asked him to take a picture together. A moment after this photo was taken, he hacked the guys down. Deciding to use his sword as a real weapon, the man moved further up the floors, spreading death. The madman managed to kill and injure several people before being captured by the police. At first glance, we have an incomprehensible, chaotic picture in front of us. White powder and bomb-like objects are scattered on the floor. What's it? The terrorist's home? No. This is the apartment of James Holmes, the madman who opened fire on innocent people in the infamous Aurora Cinema at the premiere of the film The Dark Knight, The Rise of a Legend. During the interrogation, the killer confessed that his apartment was booby-trapped. This photo captures the moment even before the bombs were eliminated. The sappers who arrived at the scene indeed saw a lot of dangerous substances that could explode if someone entered the apartment. Specialists managed to solve the problem, and the police were able to enter the killer's home without risking their lives. This picture also captures the tragedy. The background of the photo is as follows. The sobbing woman is the mother of 2 children, Patricia and Raymond. A few days earlier, the Thomas family had a picnic by the river. The children disappeared literally immediately after the start of the picnic. The search and rescue team searched for their bodies for several hours. They eventually found Patricia's lifeless body. In the photo, just the moment when a grief-stricken mother sobs after seeing her daughter's corpse. The man in the picture is one of the rescuers who is trying to calm her down. In a couple of minutes, divers will pull the body of the second child out of the water. To understand the horror, you need to look twice at this photo. At first, it seems that the people in the picture are just people of a different culture. One of them is sitting thoughtfully on the porch. But if you look closely, you can see the remains of human bodies. Fragments of the leg of the hand are terrifying. The background of the picture is simply shocking. This man is one of the hired workers in the Congo, who, unfortunately, did not fulfill his work norm, which is required of an employee. As punishment, his youngest daughter was killed and eaten by overseers from the plantation. Her father was given only fragments of her body, as a reminder of what can happen if you do not perform your duties well at work. This photograph captures perhaps one of the most shameful pages of the war, when a man's life was worth nothing. The name of the picture is The Last Jew of Venetia. This man is indeed the last of the 28,000 residents of Venetia of Jewish nationality. The fascists in the photo are ready to shoot him and dump his body into the moat, which already contains thousands of corpses of innocent people like him. The look of someone standing on the edge of the abyss speaks for itself. There is despair in him, and the horror of what is happening, and humility before the inevitable. His executioners, on the contrary, are determined and willing to make history by breaking human destinies. This is not a horror movie shoot, or even an erotic photo. The woman in the photo is Judith Dahl, one of the many victims of serial killer Harvey Glattman. Posing as a photographer to beautiful women, Glattman lured them to his home. He promised them a successful modeling career. After that, the photographer attacked his victims, raped, tortured them, and then killed them. This picture conveys all the horror that Judith felt in front of her tormentor. Until the last moment, she hoped that she would be able to get out alive from this cruel game of a psychopath. But, unfortunately, a few minutes later, after the photo was taken, the woman was killed. From the first time, it is difficult to understand what exactly is wrong in this photo. Some kind of chaos, garbage, and a lot of debris. But upon closer examination, it becomes clear that there are hundreds of scattered bodies in the picture. What caused the death of a huge number of people? Earthquake? Tsunami? Natural disasters have nothing to do with it. The background of the picture is scarier than the photo itself. In 1978, something terrible happened in Jonestown, Guyana. The dead in the photo belonged to the religious sect Temple of the Peoples, the leader of which was Jim Jones. According to one version, people, zombified by the ideas of their leader, committed mass suicide. It was this version that was immediately voiced by foreign media around the world. However, there is another alternative version, that in this way the U.S. Special Services dealt with those whose ideological currents intersected with the Soviet Union. Asterisk. It is known that Jim Jones expressed sympathy for the USSR. In his letters to the Soviet ambassador, Jones repeatedly asked for help, complaining about attacks from the American government, threats, and harassment. The tragedy in Guyana, which killed more than 900 people, was considered the largest tragedy without the intervention of natural disasters until September 11th, 2001. and remains one of the greatest mysteries of the 20th century. The photo is the only evidence of the atrocities committed by the serial killer nicknamed the Beast from Jersey. This monster was known for terrorizing the city late at night in search of another victim. For 10 years, he kidnapped children right out of their beds while they were sleeping peacefully. The killer turned out to be an ordinary guy, characterized by others as a good family man and a decent person. He himself confessed that he killed children in order to sacrifice them to his Lord and Savior, Satan. The exact number of victims of the madman is still unknown. Sometimes catacombs are places that hold many terrible secrets. The story of this picture is also not funny. A group of friends decided to celebrate the new year, 2005, in the Odessa catacombs. In the midst of the party, one girl got lost, straying from the rest of the group. The guys did not manage to find the missing girlfriend right away. It is obvious that the girl got lost and died of cold and hunger. The corpse was discovered a long time later. It turned out to be quite difficult to determine exactly whether the body belongs to the missing girl or to someone else. The photo captures the moment when the same body was discovered in the catacombs. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you like the video. If you want another such format, then write in the comments.